the way the garden looks like, during the day when you're just sitting there working and a little squirrel passes, or like you go in the garden in the evening. Like we spent so many nights this summer just in the garden, and the sky is like full of stars, and that's just magical. And well, if I start on a more cliche thing, I'm Romanian. I did leave Romania like 17 years ago, and in between, I've been living in different places and I traveled quite a bit. And it all led to Enchanted from the perspective of which I've always loved the community side. And I've always loved being around people from different places. And I think that was probably behind a lot of my traveling as well.
Yeah.
And in between the traveling, I spent around 2 years and a half in colivings in different places in Europe, very, very beautiful places.
Yeah.
Um, and I discovered another side. I was living in the city for like pretty much all my life.
Yes.
And somehow, when everything became more quiet and I started doing the countryside kind of life, I discovered something that was very beautiful and that actually
Yes.
suited me quite well. And that's what led to Enchanted. I realized this is the life I wanted to build for myself. And also, the idea of community and having a positive impact was very, very important. So, became very important.
I love that. And if we rewind just a bit, do you
Of
remember what
course.
was the travel bag? Like, how did the idea of start traveling came to you? What was
Same for a bunch
that
of
or
people. I guess it
when?
was the pandemic. It was the pandemic. I was living in Paris at
Okay.
the time, and I was working remote because we were all working remote at the time. And
Yeah.
I absolutely adore Paris. I still do. I think it's a wonderful city. But at the time, Paris wasn't very much Paris. Like there was a curfew, there were all the things that they had in place at the time. And I have a
Yeah.
friend that's also been traveling since, actually, that found Cloud Citadel in Briançon. And
Yeah.
the initial idea was that we go to the mountains to be in like a community and in a place, and we spend a month there, and then, we go back to Paris and all of that. And my month turned into 3 years and a half. So, yeah, it was a very long month. And from there, I stayed a bit in
Yeah.
Anseau, I stayed a bit in Italy, a bit in Greece, a bit pretty much everywhere.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know what a co-living was before doing that, to be fair. So it all kind of came together with this first experience, and seeing what Yet and I Enjoy have created there was just incredible. So,
I
and then I
haven't
got to
been
meet like all the other.
Yeah,
You
I
should
haven't
go.
been to any community yet, so I'm going to be asking more questions about
Very
co-living,
happy to
about
share more
co-livings.
of all the places I've been to. So,
Yes, Bianca. So you know how people say that traveling can be life-changing. Was it for you? Do you have like one or two experiences that you say like these really impact me in some way or any way that you remember?
yes, well, several. Honestly, if I would have to pick two, we would be it would be quite difficult. Um, I think probably a trip I took with my mother to Iceland, actually, for like 3 weeks, which is
Oh,
not
nice.
necessarily community based.
Yeah.
But it was more of rediscovering traveling through her eyes. She traveled less than I did, than I had a chance
Hmm.
to. And I think when we did that together, it was really nice to kind of rediscover a place. Also, Iceland is incredible. To kind of rediscover traveling through her experience as well, and to reconnect with that.
Yeah.
And I think in terms of like traveling community, to a certain extent, I don't like on some level, I don't even find it as much traveling when you're in a co-living. I think it's a different
You
kind
stay there,
of
right?
living.
Yeah.
And what I love about it is also the kind of connections you manage to create with people. Because in a co-living, it's like you've moved in with a lot of people you don't know. And I
Yeah.
think off the bat, that would have sounded quite scary. Um, but because of the way these communities have been built, and because of kind of the people behind them, it just creates a form of connection that is a lot deeper and a lot closer to my soul than I would say would
Oh,
be just
I
meeting
love that.
people randomly. So that's that was definitely like as a form of traveling something that really changed. And I don't know if I could think of like one experience per se on that. Maybe yes, they did in Anseo a few like I think what last year. They did this experience with creative spaces owners from different places
Yeah.
in Europe, and it was wonderful. And they were kind enough to invite me, even though I was just at a kind of project stage.
I
And
love that.
what Yeah, it was very nice because it's something that happens that's super interesting, and that's one of the other things that got me into Colivings.
Yeah.
Um, if you want to have like a super money making business, this is not it. Like the livings are not it. But I think that's what's beautiful about it is that it kind of attracts people that want to have a positive impact and that want to help and that want to create things together, that more of a
Yes.
collaboration and not competition thing. And I thought that was a
Yes.
very beautiful space, and that was definitely an incredible experience. So yeah, I would go
I
for
love
those
that.
two.
Yes, and I can relate to what you're saying. I felt the same, like traveling my way came to my mind actually for a similar reason. Like I felt like travelers and nomads are more open to collaborate and to talk about things, to share, being exploring around, and you've been like nomading, staying in different colivings. What made you decide to root yourself and said, okay, I'm going to build Enchanted, and why also in the French countryside?
Well, I've been living in France for 12 years now, and I really love the French countryside. I don't know if it's something from like, Beauty and the Beast when we were kids and she was walking around the village with like the boulanger and all of that. But I think first of all, it's very beautiful. It's a really, really beautiful place. And I also like, I'm a massive foodie, and I also really like how important that is in France
Yes.
for everything. Like we have a market that's like 15 minutes away that I go to every Saturday, and I know all the people from all the farms and the fromager and this and just like, doing that and then spending home cooking, going for a little bike ride or a walk or I don't know, all that kind of life
Yes.
worked very well. So that is why the French countryside. And in terms of how I decided I wanted to co-living, I don't know. I think it just felt right. Like I think when
Okay.
I was in those spaces, it just felt right, and yeah, I think it fits me in terms of something to build. And I love community, and I love talking to people and sharing experiences and all of that. I think it's a very important part of life. And I had an idea of what I
Did,
wanted for like the place and the house, and it was a long search, but it kind of came together. So.
did something inspire the idea, or was just, the experiences of living in different colivings?
I think it was the experiences of living in different co-livings. And also, I don't know, I think going through that kind of the idea shaped in my head. And I wanted something that was more centered around shared experiences and food and books. And there's a really big bookcase. And I always had this dream of having like a massive bookcase to put all the books in and like little reading corners. And I think it makes sense both from a what I want my life to look like perspective
Yeah.
in the next period and also like what I could build around it. So, yeah.
And I love that. And I want to talk about those spaces for books and all, because you have literally, I'm going to say, like built Enchanted with your own hands, because you've done all the renovations yourself and planned each space like very so much care. And I just, I don't know, I would love to learn like your experience, like the process when you were building this, because we were talking earlier, like challenges are part of doing something you dream about, or just part of it come with a combo. So do you remember like maybe one challenge that you needed to overcome, or maybe one that today is just a fun story to share.
So, just to put this in context, this house is over 100 years old.
Oh, wow.
So it's like the very like a maison charentaise, like very like massive walls, stone
Yeah.
house. And I knew I kind
So-
of wanted that a house with a story, and I also wanted like a big garden. And there's like a few things that I wanted, and I started the search. And initially, I found like two other properties that did not like I was not sure about. And when I found this
Yeah.
one, it just made sense. And it had also like, and that was from the like previous house from the previous owners as well, like a sliding door that's also a bookcase. And I don't
Wow.
know, like for me, that was kind of a dream come true on many
Yeah,
levels.
that was.
And then, and then I kind of started thinking about how to divide the space, and I knew like the different things that I wanted because I wanted like a good co-work where I could put like proper desks and chairs and like
Yeah.
screens and like I kind of collected all the things that I really liked from traveling and from colivings, like the things that were important to me, and I've tried to put that in here. And then yeah, I designed it around that. I designed it around having a space for the books because that was also very important. So I made like this whole reading area. Um, and same, like the kitchen was is very big. There's like a basically a I don't know
Yeah.
45 square meter room that's just like the kitchen with the dining and I got all the supplies possible because I do like that side of
I
things.
love that.
So yeah, it kind of I started I did do like electricity and like the walls that we had to build and the plumbing like that was not me because I don't want to like get it wrong. There's some things that I cannot do, but I did pretty much everything else and all the colors and the painting and the decorations and stuff. Uh, and it was, I think, altogether, it was a challenge because I think for the first few months, everywhere I was looking, there was like 80 million things that needed to be done.
I can imagine. Yes.
And it just felt very overwhelming. And there were moments where I was just wondering if I made the right choice or if I'm just being a
Yes.
lunatic that's got a country in the countryside that they're never going to finish renovating until the end of time. But after like a year of like quite late nights and a ridiculous amount of YouTube tutorials, here we are. And yeah, the house has come together, and I don't know, it has such a wonderful energy when it's full of people and when we do things, and like I don't know, it's nice. I think now it's at the point that it feels good.
I
So
want to know that. So how would you describe the vibe of Enchanted to someone who's never experienced also a co-living before like me? How would you describe the
honestly, I think I think it feels cozy and warm. I mean, I'm obviously biased because I mean I'm
yeah,
probably
but
not the but I think from what people that have come here say as well, it feels very comforting, and you can rest and you can kind of get grounded. And we have a million things around that are very beautiful, and I think that counts as well. Um, but yeah, probably like cozy and peaceful and grounded, I would say, in terms
because
of
I feel like even when I've never been to a co-living, I feel like each co-living, even when the essence is the same, have like a specific thing, a specific magic that makes it uh, different. What would you say that's in Enchanted? What's make Enchanted enchanted?
I think honestly, I think it's just everything. Like I think that the enchanted comes from the way the garden looks like, during the day when you're just sitting there working and a little squirrel passes, or like you go in the garden in the evening. Like we spent so many nights this summer just in the garden, and the sky is like full of stars, and that's just magical. And
It is.
I don't know, all of that, plus the exchanges, plus like, I don't know, we bake something nice and we just kind of, chat and eat something good and exchange life stories. And I think it's everything. I think it's so very difficult to like say one thing, but I think the combination of things is what makes the place magical for me, at least, and
I love it. I
for the
love it.
people
And
that
now
came
I'm
so far. So
curious. If you like, how's a day in Enchanted, and what's your favorite part of daily life at Enchanted?
So I think for because everyone, I mean, everyone that's coming is pretty much working. I've had people that came that also took holiday and like just spent time reading and or stayed
Yeah.
in the garden and but I think pretty much you work like whatever you work and then lunches we tend to do together as well because it's not, I mean, it's not a big house. It's not co-living with like 15 people. So there's basically my room and four other rooms that I can rent, which means we're probably around 6 people to maybe
Yeah.
8 maximum at the time. And we've always managed to kind of organize little lunches together. And then in the evening, it can depend. We can go for, like, for example, there's evenings in the summer where we went for a walk on the beach because it's only like half an hour away, and a little dinner in
Nice.
town. And then weekends change a lot. Probably Saturday mornings are very much market driven and then all of that.
That's so nice.
But I've tried to organize and we've done that and I want to do a bit of that next year as well. Trips. Like there's some gorgeous islands that are not far away, like Ile de Ré and Ile d'Oléron, and you just like we went biking on Ile de Ré, and you can eat like there's some of the best oysters in the world, and you just like sit there by the beach, and that can be a day, or we can also just hang out in the garden and play Catan, that has been known to happen
Yeah.
as well. So I think it's all more depending on what people feel like, and we kind of adjust together, which is again easier because it's not a very big group of people. And
Yeah.
it makes connections nicer. Like, for example, we had someone that came this year that wanted to go kite surfing, so we went kite surfing because there's a spot staying at the beach half an hour away.
Yeah.
Like, people came that were very much into biking, and there's like a million routes around, so
It must be beautiful
there's a
to
lot. Plus the wine region.
like that.
We did that as well. Like we went to Saint-Emilion a few times, and it's super beautiful. It's like an incredibly wonderful city, and you can do like wine tastings and nice restaurants and like
So
all of
nice.
that. And it's also like a short drive away. So
I love
short,
that. I
a
will.
little longer to Bordeaux, but yeah, longer than the beach, but still doable in a day. So
I love it. I
tell
really
me.
need to go, but also I want to do a parenthesis. I'm so jealous about your French. I want to learn French, and your pronunciation is just like, okay, me too. I need to learn. I
I've
love
been
it.
here for 12 years, so yeah, it's kind of
Uh,
helps. But I still have an
wait,
accent in French, though.
but
So,
wait, no,
and I
it's
will
not that.
forever, which I like. It's part of my personality. I don't. It's just like,
Yes, yes.
mm,
Not everyone. Like I know people who have been living like in South America that are English speakers that they still don't really manage to speak Spanish. So I think that it's also a bit of, I don't know, of wanting to learn about
apparent,
the place. Hmm?
apparently, I have a slight French accent sometimes in Spanish for some reason. So it's
Really?
it kind of moves from different. Yeah, I actually work a lot in Spanish, so but I work with Spain
Oh,
more. And, so yeah,
wow. So we need to speak in Spanish
we need to
after
speak in
this.
Spanish a bit. Yeah, we'll do it after the call.
Yeah. Okay, I like this question. I don't know why I never done this question before, but I don't know. I thought it Enchanted. If Enchanted had a soundtrack or a book, because I know we love books, what song or title would capture Enchanted vibes?
Oh, so a book, I think, I hope, because it's a book I really love. I would say The House in the Cerulean Sea. It's such a cute book, and I think that kind of vibe is it's like warm and friendly, and that's the book I would go for. Uh, and in terms of
Great.
soundtrack, you want to look it up or,
Yeah.
or yeah. It's really cute. If you read it, you can tell me about it. It's I think it's one book that I recommend to everyone because I adore it, and it feels really like warm. Um, and I think in terms of soundtrack, I don't think I have like a particular artist or title, but like for me, it's very much of that like fairy kind of music vibe.
All
I don't know.
right.
That's what I have in my mind. I'll look up a particular song if you want, but like
Oh
Very
no,
mellow, a bit instrumental, and yeah.
I like that. Yes, I can see that. Um, so starting projects, it's something that is scary for everyone. It doesn't matter what kind of project, right? And we are like always waiting to have all the tools, the right time. Like that, it's never the right time, honestly, because you just need to just jump to it. But do you have an advice? Because for people who are wanting to take a leap toward their dreams and they are hesitating about how, when, like, do you have any advice from your experience?
I honestly like so I changed quite a lot of things in my life, and I'm always a big believer in doing something for as long as it makes you happy. And when it doesn't, we try to look for something else. Um, and I think it's scary, but
It is.
if you have an itch to do something, I think there's a very, very good reason for that. And I think that there's not going to be such thing as like the perfectly right conditions and the right moment. And like same, I wanted to be by the beach and also at the mountains and also like in the in other things. Like I think just doing it and kind of deciding to do it
Right.
is probably the most important. Everything else you figure it out along the way. And I think a lot of times people feel things are more permanent than they are. I don't know.
True.
I changed my like I was living in Paris in like a chambre de bonne that was like super tiny for many years, trying to kind of figure out job and life and all of that.
Yeah.
And then I finally like found a bigger place, and then like I was like, okay, I'm gonna settle now. And then I left 6 months later, and I realized I didn't want to necessarily like be there anymore, and that's fine. And I mean, people told me I was crazy then, and they told me now, and I got a house in the middle of nowhere. But it makes me happy, and I think that's the most important. If there's something that makes you happy, you should do it, even if it's scary. And if you don't like it, you don't have to.
True.
I don't know. At least that was my
True.
experience. So,
No, no, I love it.
so
I, I can relate also to that. Like you just need to jump, and it's scary because you don't know if the pool is like enough water for you to jump or not. But you can only
mm,
find out when you do it. And as you said, you can always change or either, I don't know, go back or change plans or adjust. But yeah, I love that. So
mhm.
this year, I don't know how, Bianca, honestly, I still thinking about, but it's almost gone, 2025. It's just went by so fast. What have been the biggest highlights, lessons, the most meaningful moments for you? What have traveling community, starting a project that it's meaningful to you, that has left in you?
Oof, it's a loaded question. I think I traveled much less this year than in the previous years, so I think that's gonna be not as much on the list. But I think getting to finally open this place was probably the biggest one. And I think it left me with like this I can pretty much do anything I want to do kind of energy because
Yeah,
I did
I love
learn
that.
a lot of stuff. Like I think it's been like this year, and also part of the previous one was very like intense for like everything. And yeah, I think I really, really learned a lot, and I'm really in this place in which I can pretty much do anything I set my mind to, and I think that's a great energy to be in. It might fade away, and it might be moments, but
Yes.
um, but yeah, I don't know, like it's just like I had this moment this summer. We did like this outdoor cinema thing in the garden with like little fairy lights and stuff. It
Oh,
was very cute,
that's so nice.
and I don't know, I was
What
just sitting there,
movie?
and it was like I think we watched well, that particular night we watched Good Morning Vietnam, which was pulled off a hat. It ended up being much worse than we all remembered it back when we first watched it. Um And then yeah, I think I don't know if it
That's so
was like
nice.
that particular night or another week. We watched Encanto as well in the garden. We watched like a bunch of other things. Um, and I remember just sitting there and being like, this is really happening. Like there's people here and there's like
Yes,
I don't know, it felt like I don't know, somehow when you do a lot of stuff and you go through it and like things
yes.
just kind of happen and you don't necessarily be like, wait, it's real. And I don't know, at that moment it hit me that it was real. And I think that was like definitely a moment that was very happy and overwhelming at the same time. So yeah,
That's so nice.
it was a
Yes,
good year.
it was a good year. I love that. Yes, and for 2026, do you have already dreams, plans, things coming up?
Yeah, I think I wanna I'm looking forward to more people finding out about it and to like, having people come and like all the stuff we're gonna do. And I want to plan. I know you had a chat with Sarah as well. She told me.
Yeah.
And we're gonna do kind of collaboration in the month of April that I'm very much looking forward
Bianca,
to between Enchanted and the Casita.
I can see.
Um, to kind
I
of
think
help
that's the perfect
people.
collab. I love it.
I don't know. I think it made sense for like the both of us as well, even though we've
It
built these two
it makes
projects so
sense.
like in such a like different way. But Katia from Chateau actually told me about the casita, and that's how I ended up meeting Sarah. And I don't know, it just made perfect sense for these two things to kind of come together. And yeah, we're gonna be doing a month where she can do the dream thing and kind of help people reconnect with what feeds their soul. Then there's gonna be a couple of food themed months in summer, where I want to plan different activities and stuff and wine tastings and yeah, I
Fantastic.
think I'm just excited for the next season and for like seeing what that brings, and that's probably the biggest one for next year. So
I'm excited too. I'm excited too. And wait, you haven't mentioned your little co-workers, I don't know, co-founders,
so one of my
resellers,
co-founders is actually
whiskers.
currently sleeping right here next to me and lightly snoring, which is absolutely hilarious, but you don't hear it. So actually, her name is Rayla, and she's the cutest cat in the universe, and she's overly cuddly. She's like super,
Oh,
super cuddly. And she came in because I did not close a window well last year when I left for New Year's. And when I got back, I realized I was visiting her house instead. So now
oh.
actually I'm the visitor, but she's the cutest. And then there's the chickens as well, with Penelope being obviously the star. She's like a super friendly chicken that's a bit more of a dog. Like you can call her and she's just gonna come wobbling from like the back of the garden and like jump for
It's
snacks
my
and it's the whole thing.
favorite, Penelope. Yes.
Yeah. I never thought I was gonna have such a close relationship with a chicken and yet here we are. So she's super good, super super good. So
That's so nice. Well,
yeah,
thank you
they're
so
the
much, Bianca.
thank you as well.
I I love learning more about the behind the scenes because, going for your dreams is never like super easy. It takes a lot of courage, and it's always, I think it's always satisfactory to watch back to see, what you have overcome, what you've done, all the people who are already experiencing enchanted co-living and enjoying some time together, seeing that live. I think that's amazing. And I can't wait to visit you and visit Penelope. Penelope, I'm going to have her, like all the time on my lap. I don't know if she's going to want to, but I'll try.
I think she wouldn't fight you for it. She wouldn't be particularly excited, but you can kind of hold her and like it's moments. Sometimes she may jump on your like leg and just chill, but like it's like if she feels like
Oh,
it. So, but yeah, I'm
I
looking
love
forward to
it.
having you over as well. So
Thank
do a
you. Thank you
proper
so
catch
much.
up. So